Yeah. Yeah. Huh. That looks like a wiener.
I'm going straight to hell. Hell has a warm spot for me. What? Hank Willis Thomas on his new monument to Martin Luther King Jr. and Coretta Scott King. Now y'all know damn well that this does not look like this. This does not look like this. That statue does not look like this. What? Nah.
This statue is called The Embrace. It's supposed to be dedicated to Martin Luther King and Coretta Scott King. Fuck all that. You know what this looks like? You know exactly what it looks like. Look at it. You were thinking it. You were thinking it. You were thinking it too. That's what it looks like. Why would you take the heads off of the statue? I'm not... Whoever was over this project clearly needs to be fired.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I did not know that Martin Luther King had a nightmare, right? Along with the dream that he had, because this right here is really a nightmare. And what I'm talking about is this new woke statue that has been unveiled in Boston that is supposed to commemorate Coretta Scott King and Martin Luther King when they, I guess, embraced after he won the Nobel Peace Prize or something like that. And boy, I mean, it is an absolute disaster, okay? As everybody's roasting this statue for essentially looking like a giant penis, okay? That's what it looks like. It looks like some genitalia, right? It don't look good. I mean, it's an ugly statue. I mean, it looks like a sexual object. Again, depending on what angle you look at it from, like this right here, clearly it looks like he's holding a BBC, right? Like he's holding a dildo, okay? That's what it looks like. He's holding a giant phallus. Looks like a statue that you would see at the AVN Awards, right? Not a statue to commemorate Martin Luther King. This is not a Martin Luther King statue. This is a Martin Luther Dangalang statue, right? Right? This is commemorating Martin Luther Dangalang Jr. Boy, yeah, I am going to hell. Wow. Again, this is absolutely amazing. But you know what they say, guys? Everything woke turns to ish, because this is supposed to be a modern interpretation of, you know, that embrace that Martin Luther King and Coretta Scott King had. Okay, this is modern art. And, you know, it's just a shame that, you know, art went from, you know, things that are elegant. Okay, even if you had penises. I mean, this is not the first time we see penises in art. Penises show up quite a bit in art. But at least it was elegant, right? I mean, it wasn't in your face, right? It wasn't this. It wasn't ugly, okay? I mean, again, I don't know what this looks like outside of, again, either a penis from some angles or just a clob of turd, right? Like somebody took a dump in the middle of Boston. Again, I'm not trying to, you know, be disrespectful or anything like that. I know it's an honor of Martin Luther King, but this is not, again, like, look at this angle right here, bro. Look at this angle. This angle right here. You can't tell me this don't look like it's all the giant. Bruh, this is not having a dirty mind. This is just what it looks like, bruh. That's what it looks like. Bro, who came up with this, bro? Real talk. They had looked at this from multiple angles and said, you know, I don't think this is right. I don't think this is good. They had some way to model this for people to see, okay, like I'm not sure if this is the intended outcome. Okay, but again, everybody hates this. But before I get into some of the backlash here, and we're going to read about it, let's actually play a news clip so you guys get a better understanding of kind of the background behind this statue. Take a look.
Boston's newest monument, the city unveiled the Embrace, a sculpture on Boston Common and a tribute to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Coretta Scott King. The couple met here in Boston. WBZ's Paul Burton is on Boston Common with today's memorable ceremony.
Those hands. It's just a remarkable statement of mutual love and solidarity.
It was a historic and monumental day in Boston as a long-awaited Embrace statue of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Coretta Scott King was unveiled, and the family of Dr. King stood in amazement.
It is a great pleasure to be a part of this unveiling ceremony for the memorial, which truly signifies the bond of love shared by my parents.
We are all challenged to carry forward their unfinished work. This is the spirit we must keep. True to our God.
The ceremony was filled with song, prayer, and powerful speeches. The idea of the memorial came about in 2017. It stands 22 feet tall, cast in bronze. This is the first new monument on the Common in more than 30 years. The Embrace memorializes the hug Dr. King and his wife Coretta shared after he won the Nobel Peace Prize in 1964. Executive Director Amari Paris Jeffries was overcome with emotion.
I'm just so grateful to give something back to this city that gave me so much.
Dr. King met Coretta Scott in Boston in the 1950s. He preached in Boston and in 1965 led a civil rights march from Roxbury to the Common where the Embrace statue stands. King's granddaughter Yolanda spoke from her heart and clearly has the gift of her grandfather and grandmother.
Thank you, Mom. I just really see that there needs to be a lot of change in this world, and I think it is all our responsibility to really do something. And so I feel called to do this work.
And the nonprofit Embrace Boston raised $8 million to create the sculpture and an additional $2.5 million to preserve it. Organizers say people will come from all over the world to view this sculpture and take it all in. It is a symbol of unity and of love. And as Yolanda put it best, it is Love 360 unfolded here in Boston. In Boston, I'm Paul Burton, WBZ News.
Wow.
Yeah, I think I agree with Martin Luther King's granddaughter, but not in the way that she probably thinks. There's a whole lot of change in this world that needs to happen, and changing this statue is one of the first things. They need to take this down, bro. You got to take it down, bro. Fire that guy. He got his little stimulus check, $10 million to create a penis statue in the middle of Boston. Absolutely incredible. Again, this is wokeness going astray. This is another example of everything woke turns to you know what. So let's read this. Even some kin of Coretta Scott King hate the new $10 million sculpture just dedicated to her and her iconic civil rights husband in Boston, with a cousin claiming, quote, looks like a penis. The massive bronze piece titled The Embrace features two sets of arms holding each other, an artistic interpretation of the classic photo of Coretta and hubby Martin Luther King Jr. hugging after he won the Nobel Peace Prize in 1964. Quote, the mainstream media was reporting on it like it was all beautiful because they were told they had to say that Seneca Scott, Coretta's cousin, told the Post by phone Sunday, referring to the new artwork in the Boston Commons. Yeah, all the reporters and every news clip that I saw, they were all like, it's so beautiful, it's so great, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, shut the hell up. And you know damn well, this ain't beautiful. This is ugly. Okay, this is ugly. But then when it came out, a little boy pointed, that's a penis, and everyone was like, yo, that's a big old dog, man. Said a 43-year-old California, Oakland resident. Quote, if you had shown that statue to anyone in the hood, they'd be like, no, absolutely not. Facts. Absolute facts. Quote, he added scornfully to the Compact Mag, quote, $10 million were wasted to create a masturbatory metal homage to my legendary family members. One of the all-time greatest American families. Wow. Seneca told the Post that woke culture allowed the expensive abstract experiment to come to fruition. Whoa, even the family's like, yo, wokeness. Again, everything woke turns to ish, bro. Wow, you can't make this up. This is hilarious. Members of the King family last week unveiled the artwork near where MLK and Coretta first met in college. Martin Luther King Jr. III approved the piece, which is designed by conceptual artist Hank Willis Thomas for the organization Embrace Boston. Yeah, that dude should be fired. He should never work on any art for any public display ever again. The artwork's funding was a result of a public/private fundraising partnership, the city of Boston said on its online site. It's unclear how much public money may have gone into the sculpture. Quote, when we recognize that all storytelling is an abstraction, all representation is an abstraction, hopefully it allows us to be open to more dynamic and complex forms of representation that don't stick us to a narrative that oversimplifies a person or their legacy. And I think this really this work really tries to get to the heart of that, the artist says on his website. So I'm gonna tell you what's wrong here. I'm gonna tell you my other problem with this, and this might be controversial, but I don't care. I low-key think that there's too much. Oh, put it this way, we have enough. I'm not gonna say it's too much. We have enough MLK memorabilia, right? We have enough statues. Every street in the hood, right, in every major city in the country is named after Martin Luther King. We have museums everywhere across the country. You know, if we're going to do this, let's start honoring some other people, okay? I'm a Booker T. Washington type of guy, okay? I love Booker T. Washington. If you're going to start putting up stuff, you should put up stuff that honor people like him, right? Because at this point, they've ran out of ideas, right? They've ran out of ways to honor Martin Luther King because he's been honored so much. I don't think he needs to be honored more, right, than he already is. Again, it sounds messed up to say, but I'm being real. I mean, like, this is what happens when you have celebrated somebody so much that you ran out of things to actually do to celebrate the person, right? And you come up with stuff like this that, again, it just looks like a piece of shit. So, I mean, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think there's other people that could be honored, okay, outside of Martin Luther King that, you know, may have played a role in, I don't know, civil rights or, you know, advancing the racial, you know, equality cause or whatever. Just don't put up any wokes, right? No woke people, because they don't like equality. They don't believe in colorblind society. They actually are against integration, right? They don't like Martin Luther King's vision for the country, okay? It's just pretty, you know, funny how we've got to that point in this country. So let's read more here. But Seneca told the Post, the woke algorithm is just broke. I don't know what else to tell you. Quote, if you went through all of that and that's what you came up with, something's wrong. Again, there's so much that have been done here that, again, there's no more, like, they've ran out of ideas, right? This is what it is. Online critics were harsh too, including some who agreed that the work was pornographic. Quote, this is awful, the British rapper and podcaster Subi added in a tweet. Seneca's grandfather was one of 25 children of Jeff Scott, the son of a slave who became one of Alabama's wealthiest black landowners. Seneca said his grandfather, brother Obadiah, father Coretta, who Seneca said he once met at a family reunion before her 2006 death. Seneca told the Post that while he couldn't speak for other members of the family, he felt the 25-foot wide, 65,000-pound sculpture was a waste of money that should be melted down. Facts. A solid bronze statue, like, what are we doing here, he asked. It's dubly insulting the black community, who still on average to many of us are below the poverty line, Scott said. Quote, you're spending $10 million on a bronze statue without heads on it. Man, it's a joke. Seneca said the best way to observe Martin Luther King Jr. Day on Monday was through action. No performative, no photo ops. Put your phone down and go do an act of service that no one knows about. He said facts. Facts. I agree with that 100%. And again, the reactions here on Twitter are hilarious, right? What the heck is that? Cards Against Humanity answered the biggest blackest D. Facts. Yeah, I mean, that's just what it is. That's just what it is. Erected. Right? It was erected. Yeah. So anyways, let me know what y'all think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe.